Excellencies, distinguished guests, on behalf of the Center for International Relations and Sustainable Development and the United Nations Sustainable Development Solutions Network, allow me to warmly welcome you to this conference entitled Climate Change and the Green Economy. It is an exceptional honor for our think tank to have the opportunity to work together with the SDSN, which was established by UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in August 2012. Its director is Columbia University professor Jeffrey Sachs, who's also a founding member of our think tank's board. Many people around the world have been influenced by Professor Sachs over the past decades. We deeply admire his incessant efforts and remarkable leadership, first and foremost in charting a global path to climate safety and sustainable development. I will always be profoundly grateful for his guidance and friendship, which began more than 10 years ago at the Harvard Kennedy School. Allow me to thank Singapore's Ambassador Kwok Foong Sang, Chief Negotiator for Climate Change, and Mr. Kunihiko Shimada, Special Advisor to Japan's Ministry of Environment, for having flown from across the world to join us this morning. I understand you will be flying back right away to Asia, and we truly appreciate your coming to share your views with us here in our part of the world. Allow me also to express my great appreciation to our co-host, Serbia's Minister of Agriculture and Environmental Protection, Madam Snežana Bogosavljević-Bošković, as well as to Albania's Environment Minister Lefter Koka and Montenegro's Minister of Sustainable Development, Branimir Gvozdenović, and Kiswanda Ree, the ILO's coordinator for the Global Green Jobs Program. They will speak during our morning panel, which will address regional cooperation in this field. I would also like to extend my warmest greetings to the distinguished corporate leaders and entrepreneurs from Southeast Europe, the Middle East, and the United States, who will participate in the afternoon panel. That session will focus on the role of the private sector in transitioning from the brown economy to the green economy. Last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank our two important local partners, the Green Economy Center and the McCann Group. Ladies and gentlemen, in May of this year, Southeast Europe was beset by a great tragedy, the worst floods in recorded history. Dozens of lives were lost and entire villages wiped off the map. Hundreds of thousands of people were forced to evacuate homes, farms, schools, hospitals. Many of them lost all their possessions and businesses as the waters receded. The flooding caused billions of dollars in material damage and endangered, in a very profound way, the region's energy and transportation grids, as well as our food supply. But ladies and gentlemen, all around the world, catastrophic disasters like the one we have experienced are increasingly becoming commonplace. These are but a few of the symptoms of the growing planetary emergency before us, as the recent synthesis report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has made very clear. It reaffirmed in strong and unequivocal language that humanity is the primary cause of global warming and climate change. It also underscored that a business-as-usual approach will produce, I quote, severe, widespread, and irreversible impacts globally. And it concluded that if left unaddressed, the effects of climate change will pose a grave threat to our way of life in the decades to come, to every culture, in every country on earth, the sustainability of our cities, the crops that we grow, the water that we can now drink. All these presuppose certain conditions in nature that are in very danger of disappearing. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference provides us with an opportunity to deliberate on how Southeast Europe can participate more fully in ongoing international negotiations on climate change, whilst exploring how the region can take more advantage of the global transition to the green economy. We meet here a little more than a year before the critical 21st conference of the parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, or COP21, as it's called, is scheduled to take place in Paris. Recent developments suggest that the world's largest CO2 emitters are beginning to grasp the enormity of what has to be done. A few months ago, the European Union decreed that it would cut greenhouse gas emissions by at least 40% in the next 15 years. And just this last week, the leaders of the United States and China announced breakthrough commitments to achieve deep decarbonization by mid-century. I think we may be cautiously optimistic at this stage that the world's largest economies will help lead the international community in achieving an ambitious legal agreement on climate change. This would be an important step in the struggle to significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions, cap global warming at 2 degrees Celsius, and build worldwide climate resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, a comprehensive agreement on climate change could serve as a catalyst for the beginning of the global transformation to a low-carbon economy. If we implement it in good faith, virtually everything we design and create, manufacture, and consume would fundamentally change. The way we power our lives, the way we build our cities, the way we run our enterprises. I believe that the global paradigm shift to green economy presents an unparalleled opportunity for less developed regions, such as ours, to take a generational leap forward. This may be the chance to overcome some of our recent social and economic failures and build up our societies on a sustainable and prosperous foundation. This will be possible, in my view, only if we choose to be an agile participant in the negotiations, instead of being mere onlookers. I think we should engage more proactively in the COP and the post-2015 agenda talks, and so put ourselves in a better position to protect and promote the particular interests of our region. The complexity of the challenge, represented by the transition to the green economy, is no doubt truly vast. And solely relying on the immediate demands of the market is unlikely to be a recipe for success. Around the world, strategic decisions will increasingly, in this context, fall within the purview of states, narrowing the conceptual gap between the geopolitics and geoeconomics. I believe that in order to create a sustainable future for Southeast Europe, purposeful and complementary steps will need to be taken by both private and the public sector together. Innovation in targeted directions will have to be decidedly encouraged so as to unleash the ingenuity of the best and the brightest scientists, inventors, entrepreneurs. This may very well be the greatest challenge of our generation. But at the end of the long journey ahead lies the prospect of a region transformed. Southeast Europe is a green economy leader whose contributions to sustainable development are looked upon with gratitude and pride by those to whom we shall have bequeathed this legacy that we're trying to build. This is a tall order by any stretch of imagination. But it is the sort of a strategic ambition that I believe we should all rally around for, at the end of the day, striving to stand at the vanguard of concerted efforts to decarbonize the world is the only sustainable path in the 21st century. Once again, I want to thank you very much for coming and joining us in what hopefully is going to be a good discussion ahead. Thank you.